All right, fourth garden tour of 2023. We're starting here with the pink lemonade blueberry, looking great, but no blueberries as usual. But there's a lot of new growth on it, so I'm hopeful for next year. The regular blueberry is done now, and they were pretty tasty, but next year I'm definitely going to raise it up and add some more soil acidifier to it, and it'll get pruned up a little bit too this fall. Onto our fig tree, which grew really quickly and now it's not growing quite as fast. So I'm not sure if something's going on or if it's just the heat or what's happening. So I'm kind of just watching, waiting, seeing what happens. Let's move over here. So we have the pineapple doing really well. I feel like it's really shot up in the warmth, so that's good. We have the papaya also doing really well. And I made some of these just to kind of keep drips of water going next to some of the plants that aren't on drip, just in case I'm not, able to get out and make sure it's watered. But the papaya is doing really well. And then in this one, I planted some beans, just regular like bush beans. The idea is that this bed in the fall will get planted with garlic. And so it's almost like an in-place compost. So I put some old potting mix, some food scraps, bokashi on top of the food scraps, and then more old potting mix. And then I had some flowers in here that never really bloomed. And then after that, I put these beans in here. Now the beans are being eaten by a grasshopper that likes to just live in here, and I have a lot of grasshoppers. Haven't really worried about them, even here in the beans where he's very much just decimated it. Like he is eating tons of it. Not too worried about it because the beans, while I wouldn't mind getting some beans, are mostly here to fix some nitrogen in this pot, so that when I plant the garlic, it just has a very, very, very rich soil to grow in. So very exciting. I added a sweet potato in here. So this I planted about a week ago, and so I think it's kind of late in the season, but we'll see what happens. I was doing it from a sweet potato that I bought at, just like Whole Foods or something. And what I read said it should take about 2 weeks, but it ended up taking more like 6 before I got a potato slip on the side of it. I had some kind of sprout up in the middle of the potato, but then this one sprouted up on the side. And after about a week or two, I was then able to break it off and plant it in here, and it's done really well in here. So I'm hopeful, but we'll see what happens. All right, bed 1. So this bed has essentially just become mint. The mint has definitely taken back over. So all mint here. We do have a lavender back there, and we have the callaloo, and there is a big grasshopper. You can see what is all over the bed and all over the yard really. And then we do have a carrot, which I feel like I should probably pull this carrot because there's a whole bunch of roly-polies all over it. So I'm kind of wondering what it'll be like. We'll see. Oh wow, first carrot that I've ever been able to grow, and it's like a real size carrot. That is very exciting. All right, we're gonna keep this carrot with us. And so I did a whole bunch of different colors. This one's a purple carrot, which apparently purple was the original carrot, not orange. So very excited to have this. We'll be trying it later. Nothing else really going on in this bed. So I have a bean right here, a climber, and it's just been struggling. Again, you can see another grasshopper right next to it. We have tomatoes in there that have been struggling. They're not going to get any bigger than that because it looks like the plant has died. And then in the back, there's another bean. We'll go around. There's another bean here, which is also struggling. It's another climber. And then the grape is not looking good. The Concord grape, not looking too good. But if we come over into bed 2, this grape is looking a lot better. So there's hope yet for a grape, just probably not both of them. You got the strawberries, 2 that are still alive, and then there used to be 2 more here, but they are gone. This was another climbing bean that died. I am gonna use those beans though to replant it, and hopefully it'll do better. And then another climbing bean here that's just holding on. It's really trying. It's just been very, very hot. This one seems to like the heat though. It was very small until it heated up, and now it's like really starting to grow more. I have the calendula here, which is doing okay. It's kind of in like a second round flush type thing. The tomato is basically dead, but it does have some tomatoes on it. We have a shishito pepper here, lots of flowers, just waiting for some peppers to come. There's a little one right there, so that's good. I have some kale hidden back here, basil. There's another tomato plant. The tomatoes really don't like this heat, so it's definitely what I expected. I am starting some more, again, kind of late on that one too, but I'm going to start them anyway and just see what happens. And there's a radish which bloomed, and my idea was to collect the seeds, but I might have missed that opportunity, so I might just be pulling this radish too. It's a daikon radish. All right, carrots and radish. We'll see what we make from that, and I'll probably grab some tomatoes. This is the straw flower. New blooms coming, and some spent blooms. So this doesn't look like what I thought they would look like. I thought they basically just dried, kind of in their natural, like that state, but instead they kind of bend backwards, if you can see that. I don't know if that's to help like spread the seed maybe. So I thought that was interesting, just kind of watching what they do. We come around. So we have a zinnia here. And it's being entangled by a weed, if you can see that weed right there, wrapping around it. And then we have a cherry pepper. And this one was being eaten by a hornworm, but I found him last week and got rid of him. I just tossed him over in the wildflower area, but hopefully it springs back because he really like stripped these leaves before I found him. And then this is a serrano pepper, which is doing well. Buds, but no peppers right now. And that's a Scotch bonnet in the back there. Another zinnia here. And this is the African marigold. This one looks dead. That African marigold looks dead, but it is springing back from the bottom. So I'm leaving both of them because sometimes even if they look dead, they'll just spring back on their own. So it's just a wait and see what happens. And then this is another callaloo. This is the bell pepper, which is really struggling in the heat. I've upped how much watering they're getting, so hopefully that helps it spring back. And if it even just stays alive until we're past the hundreds and we cool down a little bit, I think it'll spring back. This is another calendula, also kind of struggling, but it has buds on it. And then we have what I had labeled as a chocolate Scotch bonnet, but it's definitely not a chocolate Scotch bonnet. Let's see. Best way to look at these peppers. So there are these peppers, which I'm not sure what type they are. I'm not sure if maybe something got crossed. They are very spicy, but they don't have the Scotch bonnet flavor. So not quite sure what type of peppers they are. Now that I look at that one, there was a pepper called a like bubblegum maybe, but I don't remember planting any of that. So maybe that's what this is, I'm not sure. The sorrel, this one is looking fantastic. This just grows and grows and grows. Very excited about it. This one's also looking pretty good. Very exciting. And then that one, not so good. And that one's worse. So it's definitely been a struggle water-wise and with the heat. You can see this zinnia is dead. And I don't think that one will spring back. But it's just interesting because this pepper looks so good and that pepper looks so bad. And so I think here we're just getting more water before it actually makes it all the way down here, even though the callaloo also looks really good. So not quite sure if it's just a water situation. More straw flower here. And another one marked as a chocolate Scotch bonnet, but we will see what I actually get. And then more calendula here. And there is the eggplants back there. Not doing great. Yeah, should probably just kind of prune it up. It looks like it might have spider mites or something like that on the leaves. This is fever grass or lemongrass. We have more kale here. And then we have some snapdragons. So I've never had snapdragons this late, but I mean, it is still blooming right there. So that's exciting. Have some basil, and then more tomatoes here. And the tomatoes I'm gonna start are gonna be determinate tomatoes. So I'm hopeful that since they're not gonna be, trying to grow till 7 feet tall, that I'll still be able to get some fruit before it gets cold. We have Swiss chard here, which is doing really well. More snapdragons in the back, and African marigold here. You see how it looks dead and then they spring back? That's why I'm leaving the other ones. And then way in the back is a coreopsis or a tick seed. And then we'll move over. So that was bed 3. We'll head over to bed 4. Oh, also the wildflower area is basically all dried right now. And really just needs to be cut back, but I'm waiting until the fall when I actually get some more seeds and stuff, and I'll cut it down, add some seeds. I got a whole bunch of clearance plants from Lowe's that I'm going to then plant kind of in the middle and make more of a perennial meadow in the middle, and then on either side will be more of a wildflower meadow. All right, well, let's go to bed 4 over here. So here we have some cosmos, which are kind of doing the second flush of flowers coming in. We have a Scotch bonnet back there. We have the climbing rose, which I tied up this morning. We have our Thai basil and alyssum right here. A regular basil. This is the lettuce that has gone to seed. I was gonna collect that seed. And then this is the dandelion here with the pretty blue blooms, also called chicory, the Italian dandelion or the chicory. I still have not tried one of the blooms, and I don't think I will because they're pretty, but I don't know that I want to eat one, but they are edible. And then we have some tomatoes here. And again, all the tomatoes are struggling because of the heat. More tomatoes in the middle. When you come around, we have a nasturtium here and a bird's eye pepper right there. And this is loaded with peppers. Lots of little peppers. Those really like the heat and they just keep popping out little very, very hot peppers. There's another Thai basil, another African marigold, another Italian dandelion, also known as chicory. There, blowing in the wind, so I can't get a good picture of the flowers, but they are very pretty. And then here is the Peruvian pepper, which it's doing pretty well. Not as big as it was last year, but it's, pretty green, looks pretty happy. And there are some peppers on it, so I'm happy about that. Another bird's eye here. More snapdragons. And very excitingly, a dahlia that is still alive. The other ones didn't make it in bed 1, but these are still alive, and I almost feel like that's the beginning of a bloom there. So I'm very excited about this. So if we go to bed 5, we have borage here on the corner, snapdragons, and then this one I also had marked as a chocolate scotch bonnet, and it just seems like I did not actually grow any chocolate scotch bonnets, because that's what these peppers are looking like. Really good. I haven't tried one yet. More of the scotch bonnet-ish shape than we saw over in the bed 2.5. So hopeful, but if it is a scotch bonnet, it's a regular scotch bonnet, it's not a chocolate. We have another zinnia here, lots of flowers to come, and a zinnia there with more flowers to come. I had to stake everything up. It's just everything gets knocked over by the wind, just cleared over here. So actually on both sides of the yard, so everything gets staked. We have a shishito here with some baby ones and the one in the back that I need to pick. And we have an African marigold, another straw flower. Let's go this way. We have the colored mint or the Cuban oregano, and there's the like lemon sweet Danny basil in the middle. These are the tomatoes that aren't doing great. They're essentially dead. I left them because I was hoping maybe from the bottom they would sprout up, and then that would essentially just mean I don't have to replant them, but it's not really happening. I'm still probably gonna leave them because it doesn't really hurt to just have them there, and then I'll just pick these tomatoes that are left. Although they don't look great, this was actually my best season of tomatoes. I think I got them in early enough to where I actually got something. In past years, I wouldn't really get anything. The plant would just struggle through the summer, and then more in the fall they would bloom. So happy to see these. Here's a better view of that sweet Danny lemon basil. Here's another cherry pepper, which also needs to be picked. Another calendula here. This is the sweet peas, which are a flower, poisonous if you eat them, and they do not like heat. So that one, I mean, it's still alive here, but dead all the way down to the root. And this is the Korean mint, and I expected this to get a lot bigger, but it stayed pretty contained. I mean, very much alive, very much still blooming, but also just very contained. All right, so bed 6. So the cornflowers, I expected these to be done, but they're still going. So I've just left them. So they're doing their thing. Looks like they knocked over a tomato here and brought it down with them, but it looks better than the other tomatoes, so I'm definitely going to leave that. And then here are some more tomatoes. These are the Russian variety, which I thought was going to do best in the cold, so I'm really surprised that they have any green at all right now. But they're going, but they're a beefsteak, so I probably won't get anything from them because there's just not enough time after it cools down for them to set flower, fruit, and then the fruit brighten. So they're just gonna, we leave everything and just see what happens. That's what I'm gonna do. Here we have another calendula and another Scotch bonnet. And at this point, the Scotch bonnets are kind of just fun because it's like, am I gonna get a Scotch bonnet? Am I gonna get a random hot pepper? I don't know what I'm gonna get. Very, very exciting is the ginger. It's looking really good back there. And then we have a statice here, which is going to bloom excitingly. And these do get pretty tall. And we have another basil, more alyssum, another straw flower. And then I caught this like garlic chive here, but it's not doing too well. So if it survives, I might move it. I should probably just move it a little bit closer to the water and it would probably be happier. And that's it for this month's garden tour. Everything is just kind of trying to make it through the heat. Most excited about that sweet potato though. The sweet potato and ginger are both the most exciting things right now. But other than that, it's just nurturing everything through the heat and picking these peppers. All right.